everybody. Welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host, The Balanced Blue, joined by my fellow co-host and champion mates, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. How are we this evening, gentlemen? Scott, I'll go to you first because you've got a nice smug smile on your face.
Better than Tommy T, brother. Better than Tommy T.
Fair enough. Robbie?
The Tuchel Express has derailed and has finished the last station, mate. Unlucky.
Unlucky indeed. Thomas Tuchel parts ways with Chelsea. I remember getting a notification. Boy, oh boy, don't we have a lot to discuss. I've already heard thousands of podcasts. Might be a little bit hyperbolic, but I think you know where I'm going. Lots of talk in the community. Champions League action is kicked off. We're going to definitely go through that, especially, I can't say our clubs because only my club's in it. It's all about my club.
Europe's Elite's tomorrow, mate. Don't worry about it. Don't forget.
Oh, is it? Well, that's good. Yeah. Europe's Elite, but it's all about Thomas Tuchel and the bold move that's happening. But we've got already a live packed action happening in a live chat, Scott.
Yeah, that's it. Of course. And you know what, RJ? Tonight, I want you to leave the balanced blue. Leave the balanced blue out of the study. I know you're in the study. I don't want the balanced blue. I want the real blue. I want the angry blue. I want the heartbroken blue. I want you to be real, man, tonight. No balance.
You want the blue. You want the blue. That's what you want.
Yes.
That's what you want.
But let's acknowledge some of the champions in here. Borgie on them Pogba vibes. I may or may not have the clip. I may or may not have the clip ready to go. Tom, evening, lads. Got an eye off the crystal ball. Tuchel was a dead man walking the day he didn't win last year. Yeah. Surprised it took this long. The concierge. Big up, legends. Big up to you, man. Notice I haven't put any nonsense on you because you're one of the good ones. Justin's here. We've got Steve, the Aussie Gooner. I did predict it, man. Everyone laughed at me, but it was coming. Legs of Rooney's here. Yeah, we're still in our job, man. We're still in our job. RJ's Club's the talk of the town. Declared is here. I'm sure he'll share his views. Can't wait to hear him. We want the rigid blue. We've got, yeah. Look, your club in the news, still shots at mine. And then we've got Saucy here, Ahoy, and the Football Tragics. Trippy's here. Paul's here from the Tomb Review. It's buzzing. It's buzzing. Everyone wants to know about Tommy T. We're going to start there. But, boys, can I indulge and just show my clip where I predicted this? Do either of you have a problem with me doing that?
That's all right, mate. Indulge away.
We all love the Oracle.
I don't get it right often, but if you have a look on the Football Capital season preview, I don't know if the sound's going to play. Hopefully it does. This is what went down.
And our first manager to get sacked.
Yeah, I'm going to go
We'll go to the Arsenal boys first. No. Let's keep it to the, look, obviously top six.
I think Thomas Tuchel. I have bad vibes about Chelsea this year, man.
He's been waiting.
He looks under pressure, Thomas Tuchel.
You know what will happen? He'll end up being right. We'll end up finish 6th and still in the Champions League. And like they already did in 2012, just add another Champions League.
Clip it. It's a lock. Thomas
Hang on a minute.
Has been sacked.
He's been sacked. Okay.
But he's not the first. He's the second.
Not the first, mate. That's right. Scott Parker was the first. Was he not?
I called
Let's
that
not
one,
get
mate.
too excited, mate. Let's not get too excited. But
hey,
good call. Good call.
Let's rip in, RJ, because obviously
Let's do it.
A crappy result against Dinamo.
Wasn't
Sorry, you get that
Jeez.
wrong. It's Dynamite Zagreb. Dynamite Zagreb.
Tell us quickly, not quickly, take your time. A, where has this come from? B, what are your thoughts and feelings on this? And C, it's not hidden that it's going to be Graham Potter. How are you feeling about Potter coming in?
Yeah, crazy. Hey, I was genuinely shocked. I put up a tweet after the Dinamo disaster, and full credit to them, by the way. We're not talking too much on it, but just full credit to them. A great display. I said, call for patience. I said, we've got to be relaxed. It's not good at the moment, but we've got to pull through it. We don't want the same thing to happen to Frank. He had a really bad month and a half, and it went south real quick. And I was really disappointed, obviously. In fact, fun fact for the pod, I think that was our first or second episode when he got sacked, Frank Lampard.
Second episode.
So crazy reflections. But Thomas Tuchel sacked, did not see it coming, man. I think to qualify that, it's not that I didn't see him getting sacked as a general principle, the timing just confuses me. The more and more I think about it, and I've listened to a lot of videos today, a lot of podcasts, trying to understand the sequence since the new group came in. And the one person, Yan, that kind of sort of tried to draw a picture on it that sort of made sense was it's approaching 100 days for the group. These guys have come in from a PR point of view and tried to immerse themselves with the crowd, the new supporters coming to the bridge. It might have looked bad from their perspective, coming and whining and dining, shaking hands with all these new supporters. And by the way, we've sacked Thomas Tuchel. I think there was a little bit of, there's an awkwardness. And the reality is there is no good time to get rid of a manager. But what I would say to that is there's better times than others to get rid of a manager. And I just thought it's such a dramatic decision. Knee-jerk is not right. I don't think it's knee-jerk because the reality is this wasn't just this season that we've been like this. The back end of last season, I was comparing some stats, and you compare the last 25 competitive games, and I've got it here. The last 25 games, and you compare him with Frank Lampard. So the last 25 competitive games in charge, 13 wins apiece. Thomas Tuchel, 5 draws. Frank Lampard, 7 draws. 7 losses, Thomas Tuchel. Frank Lampard, 5 losses. 41 goals scored. 49 goals scored for Frank Lampard. 31 goals against for Thomas Tuchel. 21 for Frank Lampard. That's for 25 games.
One
Champions
for Thomas
League.
Tuchel, none for Frank Lampard.
Yeah, and he obviously, but hang on, I'm not trying to say this is a whole Frank, he's better than Frank thing, because he took over when Frank won the group. We came runners up last year in the Champions League group, and we've lost our first game in this year's Champions League group to a team who's only won 5 in 43 games. So we're going to be Champions League focused. Let's just understand the landscape from their point of view. It's knee-jerk from us as Chelsea fans because of he's done a brilliant job since he took over, harmonised the group. But at the same time, comparing the first 50 games where we were defensively solid, we're a team that, in his own words, didn't want to be versed. We conceded 24 goals or whatever it was, compared to the next 50 games where we conceded 53 goals. If we're not going to be a team that's going to be defensively robust and we have struggles in attack, and you're the new ownership group who've spent £4 billion odd pounds, and you're trying to embed yourself to try to catch up to the top 2, they've made some decision that he does not seem to be the long-term solution. In my opinion, they've made a really hasty decision because they've bought players, invested heavily for those that look like they are his players. Aubameyang, for example, was noted to join because of Thomas Tuchel. We've got rid of Billy Gilmore for a meager £9 million to a club where we're now trying to actively pursue their manager. There's too many question marks about the whole timing of this. And honestly, while I'm very, very upset and disappointed that they've pulled the trigger on Tuchel, I know that he's not perfect. His stats show that he has had a bit of a steady decline. And someone will say, oh yeah, but he's had injuries to deal with and sanctions, that's not part of his CV. I totally agree that he handled himself impeccably during that whole sanctions disaster business. But trying to be fair game and see what the other side was dealing with, he wasn't one of the thousands of employees who lost their job. He turned up to press conferences. He answered questions professionally, and he still got to work with a very talented playing group and still did very well. So there wasn't things that were superhuman in a lot of respects. He had his divorce, his family bust up. There was some tension there. And I do feel that this poor bloke just had his limitations reached. And, I read up all of his stats beyond the 50 wins each and blah, blah, blah. 60% win record, 14% loss record, or 16%, whatever it was. The reality is he helped us win all of our trophies. Second UCL, Super Cup, Club World Cup. He'll always have a place in Chelsea history. But look, mate, it's shocking. It's shocking. What do you boys think? Because this is a Chelsea point of view.
Rob, let's come to you, Robbie. Let's come to you, Rob. Are you?
Honestly,
I was shocked by the shock that I saw from Chelsea fans because this isn't new for Chelsea. Where are
look,
you
I
at
was
with
the
this?
opposite. I was the opposite. I was genuinely shocked because I honestly thought when Roman left and the new owners came, I did not expect this at all to kind of follow suit. I expected them to nearly be the opposite. Okay, I thought, especially in his first year, like a few months in from taking over, I expected, this guy just won the Champions League in the last 24 months. He's we're gonna back him, as we just seen. Like they backed him well and truly in this window, and I thought he would have had a couple years. And it's round 5 or 6. Like how can you pull the pin and say like you guys are going backwards? Like it's not okay. You lost against Leeds. You had a couple of draws or whatever it was. Obviously, they even said that the Dynamo result had nothing to do with it. So it kind of felt like this guy's come in and maybe always wanted to bring in his own man. This was premeditated, and obviously the results of giving it a little bit of extra wheels to get rid of him, because that's what I'm shocked about. That's what I'm shocked about is that it's happened now. And yeah, I just didn't expect it to be a repeat. But then like we've kind of seen him say as well that, he's obviously thinking, because they just came out now with Fab saying that, okay, this is along the lines of why he got Cucurella, because they had this at the back of his mind that he liked Potter for quite a while. So this just looks like that he's waited on results to not go the best. There's been a little bit of this. Okay, this is my time to strike now.
But Rob, look at this. Look at this comment, man. They've just given him. He's just spent big
I agree
money.
with it. That's what's crazy, and
happy
RJ is
with
agreeing with
winning.
it. It's crazy.
I
agree.
There is but look, again, because I've been really in the devil in the detail with this stuff for the last day, haven't slept pretty much. They've invested heavy. They've replaced 2 of the fulcrum at the back with Rudiger and Christensen. They've brought in Koulibaly and Cucurella and obviously Fofana. They are players that the club can benefit from, manager agnostic. It doesn't matter who's in there, they're still top quality players. Aubameyang's really the only one that surprised me because of his manager affiliation due to his Dortmund days. But I think like I said before about the timing of the situation, the transfer window just closed. You haven't had a real opportunity to work out whether or not this guy is the real deal or not. But I think part of it comes into the fact that they've seen the likes of the nice style of football Man City plays and the Liverpool, Arsenal now to an extent, besides the last game. And I think in all seriousness, they've been given some advice and they've seen that Tuchel's a nice guy to help stabilize the ship. It's ironic because in some respects, Tuchel was the one that the fans were saying, we see this guy for the long term. And it seems like a short-termism decision to sack him now. But if they've come in as the new group with their money, they're trying to think about the long term. They didn't obviously see him as the person in mind. Look, and I'm not talking that Graham Potter's the right person or Pochettino. We're going to get into all that. But I think the reality is, from a business point of view, if we're going to continue the season, we've been awful. This whole season, we've been awful. Yeah, we're only 5 points off the top, but we got the luck against West Ham. We were close against Everton. We lost convincingly against Leeds. Could have lost by a lot more against Southampton. It's one of those things where they obviously made a decision that they were not going to be patient. And if this kept going downward and we dropped down to mid-table, for example, or lower, at the end of the day, it's their money and they weren't willing to be patient for it. Look, I thought it was a shock decision and I thought it was the wrong call to make. But if you see something's happening in a bad way, and remember the wording they used for Frank Lampard at the time was, we could not see a path to sustained improvement. So if Thomas Tuchel for the next 50 games, Scott, you're shaking your head, but the stats are there. We've been awful.
Players. He just brought in these new players. They haven't even had a couple of months to gel. So you can't see no path back when Aubameyang's played half an hour of football for you, and he's your only real recognised striker. Like I just think this is absurd. And there's a comment from Emad saying, basically saying, get ready. You've got this new American owner. This is not the Roman era. This guy knows no football. He doesn't know ball. He knows money, not ball. Marina, gone. Check.
That's the thing.
Gone.
That's
There's
the other
some
thing.
Chelsea DNA. Your Champions League winning manager, gone. What's
Apparently, he
next?
wants to
This
get
guy
he wants a
doesn't know
director of
ball.
football as well, coming in straight away.
And that's another thing, because there was reports from some people that apparently closer circles than what we are, were saying that because of the old structure, Marina, Petr Cech, remember, Petr left on his own accord. Marina left because of their affiliation with a Roman Abramovich. Apparently, Thomas Tuchel liked that simplified structure where he had full autonomy and didn't want to get involved with the transfer side and director of football and all that business. But because they're obviously dealing in this interim period, apparently Tuchel was not being seen as to be this team player in the background and help. And as a result, we're showing that resistance. And apparently that's something that these guys don't like. They want someone of a particular certain style.
Yes, man.
No, hang on. They run other franchises. They've done successful stuff. Love them or hate them. If you work in a job and you're told to do a certain way and you can't be flexible enough to adapt your style, that's not about being a yes man. It's about you not being flexible and being rigid. So look, we're seeing it from our side. The Ronaldo thing, that's a good one. That's a good point.
The Ronaldo thing, because I think that would have been another spark or another, to light the fire again. Like,
it was a fracture.
I said this when this kind of got leaked that he had a one-on-one meeting with Ronaldo. I said this guy's going to want to come in and he's going to want to get a big star in for the commercial side of it and for for Ronaldo to come in. And if obviously Tuchel's gone against him, the new owner, I think that would have been friction there from the start. Plus the results. Plus this is snowboard. This hasn't happened in the last week. So I don't believe how like yesterday it's like, there's no one waiting in the wings, but 24 hours later Potter's been announced pretty much. So this is
a smart business. You don't just sack someone with nobody in mind. What's
100%. But it's just I feel like it's disrespectful nearly to Tuchel that it's like this has all been happening behind, and then obviously he's just as shocked as everyone else in the Chelsea community. Just bang. Like if this guy was going to do it, why didn't he do it? I agree, man.
Well, I tell you what's funny, because I think he's earned credit. Like I think we should have stuck by him for a period of time, no doubt. But our fan base sometimes can be critical, and sometimes the rivals. Can you imagine if these new toys or the way the team's been playing continues the way it was going, and we did drop down midstream or mid-table and less? The rhetoric would be, why aren't they doing something about this? How can they be so patient? Why aren't they being decisive? And then when these guys are decisive, when it's not too late, they're seen as being too hasty. Again, I wouldn't have handled it like that because he's earned the credit. But at the end of the day, we're not the ones that have put out billions of dollars in buying the club. And the whole commentary about the American owners don't know it. Was Roman Abramovich a big football owner? Was he a big football goer? He watches the games.
Roman loved football, man.
So did Todd Bowley. Todd Bowley's been gone to the game, Scott.
Mate, if I own it and I've got a private jet, I'm going to go to every game too. Todd Bowley's
so did Roman Abramovich.
It's dark days ahead of you, man, because you know what?
I don't know.
Graham Potter, you're not going to like what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But Paul's reading my minds here. If I'm Graham Potter, I don't take this job. You're going to think I'm being an idiot, but if I'm Potter,
no, it's a normal thought process. Yeah.
I would not. What, me being an idiot? I wouldn't take it, RJ. Can I tell you why I wouldn't take it? Because he has had time, patience, trust, backing at Brighton. He's got a board there that isn't interfering with his business. That's giving him complete trust, right? And he's doing good things with Brighton. Everyone thought, I think we all did, that they were going to be much worse this season, losing some big players.
Absolutely. They've got him better.
Building credit. Now, he's going to Chelsea where you don't sign Cristiano Ronaldo because you don't think he fits your dressing room. Couple of bad results and you're out the door after winning a Champions League. Mark my words, Graham Potter does not see out this season at Chelsea Football Club. Mate, I'm so confident. Clip it again. This
Champions League thing. Go on, Rob.
He won't see the season out.
I disagree. I don't like this guy's obviously the one he wants. And look, for me, if I was Potter, and I think everyone agrees with this, you'd jump at this. Number one, the money is going to be one thing. The opportunity to be at a massive club, play Champions League football at Chelsea. And, mate, if they sacked him a year later, mate, he's going to get a payout anyway. And someone of his quality will get another job in the Premier League. So it's a win-win situation for him, honestly. And that's not to say the only thing is Chelsea seem like they want success again straight away. So, and he looks like, for me, I think he's a great candidate to go in. Like, he's never won anything, but the way he plays football and what he's done with a team like Brighton, with not spending as much as, you know, these big boys like we do, I think that's, you know, I think it's a credible thing for the job. So I don't think it's crazy. And if I was him, if I lasted a year or 3 years, it's a perfect opportunity, mate.
No, I agree here. I think it's a poison chalice, mate. Particularly this culture at that club. Look, Chelsea are a ruthless club. They always have been.
Oh, what happens to the managers?
You wouldn't have been as successful if you weren't a ruthless club, right? You're a successful club. But you know what? I just don't think this is the move for Graham Potter. I honestly don't think he'll last the season. He's got to come into a fractured dressing room. He's got an owner with a bigger ego than God knows. I just think he's going to be really out of his depth. Brighton, he had it made. He had it made. But you got to risk it to get the biscuit, right? So hopefully for him, it pays off. Not too much. But I don't see him lasting the season. Robbie thinks he's going to do really well. I didn't say he's going to do well. I just said I don't think it's going to be a one season thing. Like if they've spent all this money just on thing and then sacked him, they did on Tuchel and he was gone in a week. I
think they're gonna. Well, he's got at least to January anyway to see how he's like, and then if he wants some of his players, these guys are obviously happy to. For sure, they'll be happy to put their money in their pocket in January again if he wants particular players, because these guys play two different styles, mate. Like that's the thing that kills me. He's gone from Tommy Tuchel for whatever year and a half, 2 years playing his system. Even now, this year,
they play similar. They still have a similar formation and stuff. They still use a wing-back system and things. So there are players that fit that profile. Brighton
play more attractive football than Chelsea at the moment. Like we can't.
Yeah, that's right.
That. Is he who you wanted, RJ? Like,
it's not about them playing more attacking. By the way, they've been more effective up front. There's no doubt.
I didn't say attacking. I said attractive.
I thought you said attacking. Sorry.
No, attractive.
And I mean, look,
they're definitely more.
They have a striker. You only just got a striker. Blind Freddie saw before the season you didn't have a striker, but you sign one at the end of the window and get upset with the manager that you're not scoring goals. Like,
it's a team sport the last time I checked. But anyway, it wasn't just a striker.
Is that who you wanted? Potter, Poch, Zidane.
Oh, not Poch. I think he's hit his ceiling. I think he's done well at Tottenham with very good players, didn't win anything, went to PSG with even better players, won nothing, done worse. Hit his ceiling, waste of time in my opinion. Clip that one. I think it's done. I wouldn't be supportive of us getting him. If he does come, good luck to him, but I just don't think he's the right choice. Zidane, he's obviously got pedigree in the sense of he's won some things, again, with really high quality talent. Have my doubts and suspicions about how he'd cut it in the Premier League with better competition across the board. Mm-hmm. It's a tough one, man. To be honest with you, I was such an advocate for Tuchel that I feel like anything else at the moment's a downgrade. The problem was, tactically speaking, I thought he was very sharp and he tried to change things up probably a little bit too little too late, unfortunately for his demise. But his cup record was so strong. We made so many finals. We lost a couple of blank penalty shootouts and other controversies and the like. But over a Premier League season, unfortunately, it just didn't quite stack up. The problem is there's so much player power in that dressing room. It's hard to see the previous era, Abramovich, chaos and trophies. We thought that was behind us. But the problem is now that they've already pulled the trigger so quickly on Tuchel, who's done a lot, it's hard to change that perception culturally that we're not like that anymore. It's like, we're not like that anymore, but let me just do something totally opposite and prove that we are still like that. So it's hypocritical from the club's point of view to try to convince progressive managers like Potter, trust us, even though we just backstabbed someone, but trust us and hope for the best. He is someone I would give a shot, mainly for the point of view of we can almost pretty much predict that they will have 12 to 18 months there. And look, the Jose one there, look, he's part of our club culture, man. I would take him back, but he wouldn't want to come back at the moment anyway, I don't think, respectfully. He's got a cushy over at Roma. But Potter, I'd support him like anybody else, and I think he does well. He's overperformed. He's overperformed in a team. Take your point, Scott, about the environment's easier. But at the same time, he's had to compete with the big boys, done very well for a period of 2+ years. And like you said, sold Basuma, sold Kukurea, and have actually gone better. So at least trajectory-wise, and the way he knows the Premier League and the way that they play football, I can understand why they'd want to take a risk. And the reality is, if it doesn't work out, they'll just fire and get the next one in. And that's just how we do it.
It used to be chaos and trophies. At the moment, if you ask me, it's just going to be chaos. But let's move on. And just for your interest, Arj, I put a poll up in the chat. Were Chelsea right to sack Thomas Tuchel? 79% saying way too soon. 16% saying it had to be done, and 5% unsure. So just some interesting stuff there. We are going to move on. Let's quickly recap some of this Champions League football. Because you know what? Another guy who may be feeling a little bit of pressure, maybe sweating, is Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool absolutely humbled in Naples. I know you boys like your Italian football. Robbie, does this shock you?
It doesn't shock me recently with their form. We've seen, the other night when I tuned in for 5 minutes, he said, what was I looking forward to? I picked this match out straight away, and I said, Napoli and Naples will be hard. And the way they're leaking goals at the moment, mate, this world-class defense. Look, I won't even pick on Van Dijk, but Trent Alexander-Arnold needs to be called out. Honestly, he might as well just play right wing.
He's a good winger.
He's a good winger. He has no defensive attributes at all. I don't know if you guys seen any of the goals. There was literally a goal where the guy nearly just
the standing clip.
Him.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. It's honestly for him, for this guy to be world class right back.
Rob, that's Scott's favorite, man. He said he's the best.
Remember? At this point, do you push him onto the right wing and move Salah onto the left? Salah can play there.
Look, you got Diaz, you got Jota. There's so many players you can't, bro. There's not enough players. Mate, and this is why he doesn't get picked for England, because Southgate's really thing on his defense, and this guy's got no defense at all. Shocking. It's not just him, but the whole team is not performing. Since Salah is a bit of a bumyang, to be honest. Since he's got his contract and his big dollars, this guy's done nothing. Yep. I think he scored maybe 1 goal this year, a couple assists, which were really.
Ask my FPL team, Rob.
Mate, it's they're not looking great, and they're spiraling quickly. Like, okay, I know they've got a couple injuries, but they're not life-threatening ones like when they did have Van Dijk out that year and a couple others. Like, I picked them to win the league this year, and and even when they're not producing in the Premier League, they're normally ruthless in Europe. And to go there on match day 1 and mate, 4-1 is kind. This game should have been 6 or 7.
They've given up on him, Rob.
They missed a penalty. There was heaps of opportunities, and this was all done by half time, mate. The gates were shut. So look, for me, I'm smiling. I can't write them off, but we know what the 7-year curse under Klopp, mate. And for me, a massive mistake was getting rid of Mane.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. RJ, were there any results that really stood out for you that you wanted to chat about, mate?
I just want to say Liverpool, I know I've got to talk on that, but I'm really concerned, not me because I'm not a Liverpool fan, but if I was a fan, mate, there's some really poor body language, some signs there. Mate, I know they've been a beacon of stability, but they look like they're slowly giving up on him. And it's sad to see because I think he's a top manager. And it's, again, these whole players, if it doesn't start going well for them, they can really start turning the screws. So that wouldn't shock me if he was to go pretty soon. But that's just wanted to highlight that. Other results, obviously we lost 1-0, but Bayern Munich 2-0 against Inter, disappointing for myself. Good game. Barcelona, quite strong start to the campaign. And then, look, love him or hate him, or the club itself, but, geez, you've got to take your hat off to that generational superstar, Erling Haaland. My God, those stats, it's scary to think, 25 goals in 20 Champions League games, whatever it is.
Yep.
Mate, this guy's ceiling, right up there. What a freak. Him and Mbappe both played brilliantly this round.
Speaking about records as well, we had over at Barcelona a certain Lewandowski becoming the first player to score hat tricks in the Champions League for 3 different clubs. So another big achievement for him. What a player he is. He's just, I hope he's still playing for many more years. He's just a pure finisher. He's so
What a
good up
striker.
there.
So 100%.
Kudos to him. Celtic, obviously, with Big Ange being there, could be the future Brighton manager. Who knows? Went down 3-0. They were nil all at half time. Well, I thought they were resilient. They were resilient, but then
once that first goal went in, it was done. First goal went in, there was floodgates.
Yeah. So look, hopefully for Big Ange, we can see a little bit more.
Next Brighton manager, Scott.
Potentially, man. You know what? But
I don't think
I can understand a little bit Potter going because he's getting new experiences. He's getting more money. He's in Champions League, etc. But what's Ange going to get at Brighton that he's not getting right now at Celtic besides that Premier League? So Champions League was good. Obviously, Robbie, you guys play in Europe's prestige Premier competition. Who have you got?
Tomorrow we've got Real Sociedad tomorrow at home,
Woo.
Old Trafford.
Interesting game.
Yeah, it will be an interesting game. They're definitely not going to be a pushover. And out of the 6 games, this is the most important one for me at home. This is on paper our most difficult opponent, and like I said, so I hope I'm sure there will be rotation. I'm hoping it's not going to be crazy rotation, and I think Ten Hag is smart enough. He's going to take this competition very seriously. Like every game, I think he will take anyway. But this one here, I'm not expecting a full kind of 11 change. I think there'll be a mix of our second teamers. So people like your Harry Maguires and stuff like that should be in the team time. But I still think Ronaldo starts, Casemiro, when you got people like that starting, and they're at the moment our second team. Look, as long as we get the points here, I think we'll be in because for me, topping these Europa groups is very important now with the new changes. You top the group, you have a bye, and you don't have to play the round of 32, and you avoid the Champions League team. And for me, that's another massive hurdle to get over. So you get a bit of a reward.
Spot on. As well, before we move on, there's a lot of you in here tonight loving the live chat. Just make sure you remember to smash that like button. We're a little bit short. Let's get the likes up. It's only the click of a button. And of course, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. We are on that road to 700 subs. We're getting ever so close. So if you could support us by smashing the like button and subbing, that would be great. Justin, glad you picked that up, mate. The chills when you hear Maguire's name. I'm not even a United fan and I get the chills. It's just anti-football, mate. Anti-football. For us, we're playing Zurich.
Away?
I think it's away.
Tomorrow.
I'm not 100% though. But look,
it is. It is
away. Yeah, there you go. I think should be a routine victory for us. I'm hoping, but we don't have a lot of squad depth. The most important thing is coming out of this without injuries because it's all about Everton for me. That's the big game. Like we've got to prioritize it because I'm running out of excuses at work when people are putting shit on me about Arsenal. I've used the excuse, can't hear you from the top of the league, but if things don't get back to where they were, I'm going to run out of excuses. So long may that top of the league continue. Let's go to the Premier League though, boys. That's why we're all here. That's the one we love. The most important, biggest and best. It's time to do some predictions. At the moment, very close competition. Very close competition. I think you two are on 33 and I'm on 30, if I remember right. I've come back. But the first one, kicking off the round, it had to be Graham Potter's boys, Fulham hosting Chelsea. RJ, new manager bounce or what?
Hopefully you can work some of that magic and avoid the dreaded sacking curse. But it's tough one. Let's call a spade a spade. If you're Fulham, you're watching us the other night, you're licking your fingers. This is a wounded Chelsea. We're ready to strike. As long as we can defend as a collective unit, we'll struggle to break them down. And to be honest, this is where Potter is actually quite strong. He's someone that's really good at finding solutions, and where poor Tommy Tuchel, he struggled really in the attacking development of his team. So the proof's in the pudding. Obviously not going to achieve much in a couple of days, so I don't expect too many changes. Tough one, man. I think this one's at Fulham, if I'm not mistaken, or is it at the Bridge?
I thought
It's
it
at
was at the
Fulham.
Bridge.
It's at Fulham.
It's at Fulham. Okay, it's at Fulham.
Yeah, Craven Cottage there. Okay, so, man, trying to be a bit objective. I've got Robbie. I'm on equal points with him now. Scott, you're in the top 3. Well done. Tough one. Look, I will go for a response here. What does that mean? It means a narrow win. I say that with no confidence, but pencil me in for a 2-1 to Chelsea.
Robbie?
Yeah, look, I don't think the new manager will be on the bench for this one, regardless. But look, I've been thinking draw so badly, but Chelsea and chaos just go hand in hand, mate. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll go for a 2-1 as well, even though I could see a draw in this.
Yeah, the Potter will get sacked straight away. That's it. First draw, you're out.
They won't announce him till after this game, just to be sure.
For me, I'm going 1-1. I'm just feeling it. Mitrovic is unplayable at the moment, man. And I just think there were some pictures of the Chelsea players driving into training after the news had announced. Man, it just looked dejected, but nothing to boost spirits like a win. But I, for one, hope it doesn't come.
Will 007 score or not?
007.
Yeah, we need 007, mate. Money Mason, 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games.
Is that? I thought that was Ronaldo. The GOAT.
No, Ronaldo hasn't started that many games yet.
Doesn't matter. He still played. Doesn't matter, mate. He's the best.
Hey, don't go
He's
with
no
007.
Pessi. Hey,
Money
he's
Mason,
no
mate.
Pessi.
That's it. He wishes. Let's move on. Bournemouth and Brighton. Brighton playing away from home in this one. Could be managerless too.
Think of that.
What's happening,
Tuchel might be
Robbie?
on the bench.
Yeah, that's it.
Geez, yeah, that's I'm gonna say 2-0 still to Brighton. They're flying high, mate. I'd say the coach will just go out and do what you've been doing for the remainder of the season.
I'm with you, Rob. You took the words right out of my mouth. 2-0. RJ?
I'll go 2-1
To Brighton, yes?
to Brighton.
Could be an El Sacico. Leicester hosting Aston Villa. Tell you what.
Can I just say, Scott, sorry,
Yeah,
I have to jump in there. How these two have survived longer than Tuchel, that's a crime. That's a crime
clubs
in
don't
itself.
have your owner. You're
For
fraud
our
of an owner,
trophies.
man.
Woo! Yes.
Fraud
That's
of an
Nah,
owner.
you're
I'm
right.
telling you.
Fraud. You're a fraud, mate. You're never welcome to the Bridge. That's it.
Let's go. Leicester, Villa, RJ.
Both fraud managers. No, it's a tough one. I reckon this one will be a Villa win. I'm going for Villa here. I've got a feeling for them. It's at King Power, is it? Or
Yeah, it's at King.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah, that doesn't mean too much to me. They're pretty weak defensively. I could see this being a pretty high attacking game, says a 0-0 draw, but I go for Villa 3-2.
Well, what do you reckon on this one?
I'm going for 1-1 draw in this. I think they might cancel each other out, to be honest. So 1-1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go 2-1 to Leicester, first win of the season.
Well, one of us is going to be happy because we've all gone different results.
And Tom
love
brought
that
up a good point. I think there was the train strike for the Brighton match.
I think that's a later game, isn't it? I think that's
This one?
It's been called off, has it?
Isn't it against Newcastle? I think it's against Newcastle. It's Brighton and Newcastle that's been called off, which is, I think, in the future.
Oh, good. Oh, well, look, let's move on. Liverpool Wolves. Liverpool in Fantasy Premier League, and the tips are killing my life. Killing my life because I keep backing Salah. I keep thinking it's just a matter of time. They'll click, and they ain't clicking. But I think they'll have too much for Wolves. I'm going to reluctantly go 2-1 Liverpool. What about you, Rob?
To Tom's dislike, I have got Salah and captain in my team, but I'm actually going to stay like that because I'm hoping this is like putting a mocker on them. So I'm going to keep the curse alive. I'd happily see Liverpool get relegated with me having Salah as captain. But yeah, look, I can't at Anfield again. They've been crap regardless. But against Wolves, I'm just going to go for a 2-1 against Liverpool.
Okay, what about you, RJ?
Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a dance around. Tough one. Wolves have been pretty good. Surely they've got to bounce back, right, Liverpool? Got to bounce back here. Lock me in for 2-1 to the Reds.
Okay, 2-1 to the Reds. Here you go. A bit of clarity on that cancellation. Brighton Palace on the 17th called off. Yeah, look, I saw this. I did see Paul put this on his social media. 45 minutes apart, but Newcastle did have to go on a big trip to Brighton during a strike. It is crazy. It is crazy. The inconsistency in this league from top to bottom, refs to management, to manager sackings.
Can't Newcastle just fly on private jets, all their players individually anyway? What's the difference?
Yeah, we'll have to throw that one to Paul. Southampton hosting Brentford. I think this will be a really good match. I think Brentford might have a touch too much for Southampton, though. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Brentford. What about you, RJ?
Yeah, I like the Bees for this one. Shown a lot of character lately. They've gone behind and clawed their way back. Ivan Toney, he's been really good. We should buy him. We should have bought him spewing. I think they'll win also, Scott, but I'll go 2-1.
Okay. What about you, Robbie?
Yeah, look, my second team, the Bees. And again, I think Tony is really pushing for that England call-up, man. I really think he's a smoky. Calvert-Lewin's not going to get there, and he's one of the most informed English strikers at the moment. So, yeah, for the Bees, for me, 3-1.
All right, the next one. This is going to be a hard one to tip because of recent history between these two teams. Manchester City hosting Conte's Tottenham Hotspur, who did have a nice little win away at Marseille.
No, they were at home.
Albeit against 10 men.
I wouldn't have called it nice either, to be honest. But, yeah.
Yeah, look, hey, it's always nice when you get 3 points, mate. 3 points is 3 points. But this will be tight because Spurs are a little bit of a bogey team for Man City. Mm-hmm. Man City will want to bounce back from a disappointing result last week. I'm hoping I can go last, boys, because I have no idea what I want to tip. Let's go with you, Rob. You're very wise.
Where's it at? Is that
it's in Manchester.
I don't know, mate. I just think, yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? God, what a match to tip.
I'm not sure. Yeah. No, I want Spurs to win, obviously, but I just see Haaland scoring, and I don't know. Like you've seen too many times, I've seen this year with Spurs. They haven't been the better team, and yes, they've got the win. Like today, they got the winner, but they were playing against 10 men up until the 75th minute, and then they scored 2 late goals. Very much like the Wolves game. So I just think a team like City will punish them more. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 to City.
What about you, RJ?
Yeah, I don't know, man. With the goal-scoring machine that is Haaland, I'm glad we didn't have a chance to get him and went for Lukaku. That went well. But in all seriousness, what a player. Phenomenon. Jeez, I want to be a citizen sometimes. Surely this guy's got to stop scoring at the rate he does, but I think he does it again against Tottenham. Conte's smart, though. They'll put a lot of blocks in place to stop him, but there's only so much they can do. And I think if they put too much on him, it'll open up space for others. And as a result, I reckon they'll win this one by a 2-goal margin here. I could see a 3-1 here to City.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't know.
I am a big believer in hoodoos, jinxes, bogey teams. Not quite to the extent where I think Spurs will take 3 points because I don't. But I can just see a dodgy penalty or something for them. And we know that Conte knows how to make his team difficult to beat. So I'm seeing a 1-1 in this. I'm going to go with 1-1. Harry Kane to score and Haaland to score, all about the men up front. But, God, this could go any which way. It's a really tight match.
Son's normally the one that is their hoodoo, and he hasn't scored this year. That's why.
And Kulusevski could be dangerous against them.
Kulusevski could be dangerous. I have to say, Richarlison in the last 1 or 2 games has been dangerous as well.
It's going to be an interesting match, certainly. What I hope is an interesting match, but an easy match, albeit, is Arsenal hosting Everton. It will be in our stomping ground. Again, the main thing for me is just that fitness. I want everyone to end the match without an injury. And it'll be interesting for the first time in a couple of seasons to see how we bounce back from having a midweek fixture because we didn't do it last season. but our squad is still very, very thin. So a little bit of nerves ahead of this. We know that Frankie won't want to lose against Arsenal, but I do think we will have too much quality for Everton. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win to the Arsenal, only because we've got that midweek fixture, and I think there might be some subtle rotation. What do you think, RJ?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Obviously, would love to see Super Frank get a result, and they have been playing well, Everton. I'm trying to be as fair game. They have been playing not as terrible. Put it that way, not as terrible as they were last season. So
Well,
they have been
Liverpool,
getting better.
they should have won that game last
they
week.
could have won. Pickford did make some good saves, but they did play pretty well, of course. But Arsenal, man, I look, they probably should have got something from the United game, but were naive. I don't expect them to be that naive again. I do expect Arsenal to win. I don't think it'll be that dramatic that Paul's making it out to be. I do not think so. I hope not anyway. But I do think a 2-goal margin for sure. I do think they'll win by, I'll go 2-0 to Arsenal.
Robbie?
2-0 as well.
Okay, rolling in. All the boys are on Arsenal. West Ham hosting Newcastle. Another really good game, I think this will be. Two good teams, two teams that will have aspirations for European football next year. It will be in London, so West Ham home game. I might kick us off with this, boys. I am going to go with Newcastle in this one. There's a good vibe over there at the moment. I think Isak will do well for them. I'm going with 2-1 to Newcastle here, Eddie Howe's men. What about you, Rob?
1-0 Newcastle. They've got Conference League as well, West Ham, so an extra fixture. I think they could be travelling as well. Newcastle look good. Defensively, they look really good, and they're not goal scorers a lot. So, maybe someone like said that Isak could maybe just get the 1 goal. So 1-0 for me to them, and it could be a little bit of pressure for Moyes as well.
RJ, what are you seeing, mate?
Well, I'm just hoping Jared Bowen hasn't been watching the latest Cobra Kai trailer, mate, because he's getting a little bit dangerous if those studs up. But in all seriousness, I do think Newcastle will have too much for West Ham. They were okay against us, West Ham, pretty boring, no disrespect, but I think Newcastle have got more attacking artillery. And as a result, I think the Toon will walk away with a hard-fought 2-1 win.
There we go. Plenty of love for the Toon. Make sure you're showing plenty of love by smashing that like button. We are getting ever so close to the end of the stream. We've got a couple more matches to go, and then we will be doing some quick fires. Crystal Palace at home to the winners of the league, if you saw their fans last week after beating Arsenal. 21 is coming, 10 hard ball, Manchester United. Surely, Robbie, it's a walk in the park against Palace, mate.
Definitely not a walk in the park, mate. You were talking about Voodoos, and Palace is one of our Voodoo teams. But we do have a good record away to them, funny enough. I'm going to go 2-1. We normally always get a late win. I know Matic has had one. Ibrahimovic has got one. We normally score late to win, so 2-1.
All right. RJ, what are you thinking? Are we going to have cigar-smoking United fans on our channel again, or what?
Just for a certain mate of mine, I'm just wondering what excuse you'll have for when Messi gets another goal and assist and some more record-breaking dribbles this week and Ronaldo doesn't do anything. But now, in all seriousness, I do think United will get the job done. They're in hot form at the moment, and Ten Hag's working his magic. Not perfect, which is scary. But yeah, I like Emad's tip. We'll lock 2-0 to United.
Sometimes anyone that watches this channel often knows that me and this guy down here at the football capital, we have a little bit of a give and take. How are you coming on our channel, smoking cigars with your glasses on,
WWE entrance,
thinking you're king of the world, but then saying you're going to draw to Crystal Palace? Come on, man. Come on. You guys are the champions.
He's not pulling your leg, man.
The bus is already on, boys.
That's it. The bus is booked. United are taking 3 points at Palace. Unfortunately for Paddy V, I'm going with 3-1 to Manchester United. You've got the best winger in the league, the best gaffer in the league. Mate, you've got Fred, you've got McTominay. It should be easy.
You know what gives me confidence? Our defense. That's what gives me actually confidence for the first time in a few years.
Unless
I really
Maguire
like
comes back in.
Varane and Martinez. Maguire won't be near that team, mate. It's Varane and Martinez, mate. And like even in our fullbacks, they're playing really well. So that's the focal point of our team at the moment.
All right, boys. Lucky last. Leeds hosting Forest.
Ooh,
Leeds
Can't
for
say I'm
me. I'll kick
excited.
it off. I'll
Go,
kick it
man.
off. Leeds to win. I'll go 2-0.
2-0 Leeds, Robbie.
3-0.
I'm going to go with 2-0 Leeds in this one. All right, as we get towards the closing part of the show, Ornstein just putting out a tweet saying that it's pretty much in the process of being confirmed between Graham Potter, and there's a chance that he could be in charge against Fulham this week.
Geez.
So there you go. A little bit of news coming via David Ornstein.
Wingard and Chelsea Osa.
That's
it. It's all happening, mate.
Oh, Lord. I'm already not looking. I can't wait for him to be sacked in 6 weeks so I don't have to listen to that crap again. Let's have a look at the Manager of the Month nominations. I haven't got a quick fire, so I'm using this. Boys, we don't need an explanation. Just tell us, who is your Manager of the Month?
Potter. Easy.
RJ?
Yeah.
Potter?
Yeah. I'll go Potter as well. Yeah.
For me, team at the top, best team since the season kicked off, Mikel Arteta.
Who's your last performance?
Look, that was in September.
You keep telling me how good
August
the performance was.
August, RJ. So technically,
Who's your last
August.
result, I should say.
We were the August champions, so it should be Mikel Arteta, and it will be. But I don't want it anyway. That award's cursed, man. Whoever gets it has an awful month afterwards. So, yeah, I think it'll be Mikel, though. You boys got your quick fires ready?
I've got some quickly, boys. So we'll borrow Potter's magic wand. If you had the magic wand, and you guys could get rid of VAR, if you had the chance to get rid of VAR today, would you or wouldn't you?
Spot on, mate. Straight away. See you later.
You would, RJ?
Yep.
I thought you were talking about the Klopp Manager of the Month comment there straight away. VAR, get rid of it? No. I don't think it's the system, boys. I know it's quickfire, but no, not for me.
No, for me as well. I'd keep it as well. I think they get more right than they get wrong. Finish the sentence. Never have I ever.
She wanted Spurs to win.
Seen Chelsea have a manager for more than 3 seasons.
Oh, dude.
Hey, fun fact on that. Apparently, since our start, since 1905, apparently we've never had a manager for more than that ever, like factually speaking. So
that's funny.
Interesting.
What a club.
For me, I was just something random. I've never smoked a cigarette ever. And last one, anything that you're watching at the moment?
Yes, I started watching The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and
I started, did you?
Yeah, and I'm going to stop watching The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, because I'm a Tolkien fan. I've read all the books, and they've changed too much for me, man. They've changed too much. I need a whole stream on it, man. If you haven't read any of the books, you're not going to have any beef with it. You're going to thoroughly enjoy it. But if you've read the books, it's just no.
You're a power reader, though, Scotty. But don't you know the only 3 rings that matter: an engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the supper ring. That's the only rings I know, mate. So not that, okay? The show I'm watching at the moment is, well, it's actually 2. It's House of the Dragon. And also, this season, I just saw a trailer this afternoon, new season of Cobra Kai. My God.
Can't wait. Comes out tomorrow. For
Robbie?
me, boys, I'm watching a couple. You know me, I like my power. So one of the branched off ones, Raising Canaan season 2's on. So I'm onto that. And actually, I'm smashed out last night. I watched all 4 episodes of that Welcome to Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds, the co-owner of
what's that?
Wrexham. Awesome. That's on Disney Plus. It was only 4 episodes at the moment. I don't know if they're going to continue, but I really love that kind of behind the scenes thing, and it was actually a really good documentary. Not very long, like 25-minute episodes, but definitely worth a watch.
Easy. RJ, you got any quick fires, mate?
Yeah, I've been watching a couple of recent Adam Sandler movies, and we obviously saw him back in the day when we were growing up. So the ones I've been watching are family-centric, blended, bedtime stories, just go with it. My question to you, lads, is what is your favorite Adam Sandler character?
I can't get. I know what Scott is going to say. He's going to say.
Well,
Happy
yeah,
Gilmore.
have a backup in mind in case we come across similar ones.
I'll go Big Daddy for me.
Yeah, he's good.
Give me more time. Talk, RJ. Sing, do something for the people.
Oh, it's got to be, to me, obviously, Happy Gilmore is one of the originals, but I'd also say, Happy Gilmore. Billy Madison is a bit of a joker, so his character is a bit dumber. But Happy Gilmore, I'd say, and it's a tough one. Actually, underrated one. I think he's really good in anger management, but he's got awesome supporting cast in that too.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore's definitely the winner in this one.
People that don't know RJ when he's not the balanced blue, when he's not the balanced blue, he is Happy Gilmore. And that's I tried so hard for the first 25 minutes to bait him. I just wanted to bring the Incredible Hulk out. I was trying. I'm
That's why I don't do watch-alongs, guys. I can't do it, man. I'd be insane.
He'd be entertaining. That's the truth.
Great shout, this one. What a movie.
It wouldn't be a family-friendly
movie. I love
stream,
this
though, would it?
movie.
Geordie 2, Grown Ups. I just watched the number 2 the other day. So many good one-liners.
Grown Ups.
All right. We are all grown-ups and we have jobs to go to tomorrow. It's been a great stream. We've covered plenty of things. Before we do end the stream, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you check out plenty of our friends in the chat. I know they're all putting out some brilliant content. We'll be on a friend of mine's channel on Saturday, Albert JTV. I'm doing something with Steve, the Aussie Gooner, on his channel. We're having a yarn, I think, in the near future. And I know I was just watching the Football Capital put out an FPL video that I was watching before this stream. I need all the help I can get. So just make sure you check them. Man Cave United, the Pubcast, all of them.
Sorry, quickly. Emma, that movie you're talking to, absolute banger. That is a cracker movie to watch. Make sure you get onto it.
That's it.
Hustle, was it? Hustle's called, yeah.
Hustle.
It's about me. Nah, Sarah.
We're giving Tom the last word because he's spitting facts. Europe's elite. Return in a few hours. Sleep tight, everyone. Enjoy the football. The real competition is coming. Take care. Look after yourselves. The boys are out.
Okay.